What up?
What up? What
Yo,
up? What
yo.
up?
What is going on?
You know, living the dream.
Nice. I like living the dream. My dream is to win the lottery and then not have to work anymore. What's your dream?
To be alive and
Ooh,
living.
nice. Nice. That's pretty that's probably a good thing. Yeah.
It depends who you ask, I guess.
You look like you have like a beauty filter on your camera today. It's like all like glowing around you. And you're like the Duke logo is all like shiny.
No, just your computer sucks.
I think there's probably like a fingerprint over top of your webcam.
Or you suck.
Fair enough. Well, everyone, you're in for a special treat today because one of the longest, most talked about things we've ever done on this podcast, we talked about it a whole heck of a lot, especially early on in the podcast. And then it's just been a running joke ever since. But Cyberpunk 2077 is finally out on next generation consoles and is, by early reports, actually playable. Oh.
Who cares? Next subject.
Well, hold on. I've had this game since I think launch day. It was a gift for me for Christmas 2020, which is like a week after it came out. And I was like, I already had because we already had our you had your PS5, I had my Xbox Series X already at this point. You know, it was out for Xbox One, but it did say on the box like, hey, you get the upgraded version as soon as it's out, and it's going to be out later this year. So I was like, sweet, sounds good. And like nobody knew until the game came out how terrible it was on consoles. No one knew, other than like the game developers themselves. So I was like, I just had in my head like, yeah, like sweet, I'll get it for Christmas and then I'll play it in a couple months. And then so quickly, right, we found out this is a game that, like, if you played it on PC, you actually like, it was a good game. Like, it was actually pretty solid. But all of those console players did not have a good experience. So I actually tried playing it not too long after I got it on my Xbox Series X. And while it certainly was more playable than reports had indicated for Xbox Ones, since the Series X is a lot more powerful, I just, it didn't feel like a complete game. It felt like something that was hacked together. So I shelved it, and it has continued to be shelved until just until yesterday, when I finally began the 60 gigabyte download on my Xbox for the Series X version of it. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to finally play this game. It has been one that I've been looking forward to despite all the controversies, but yeah, I'm pretty stoked to sink some time into it. Alex, do you ever see yourself trying it out?
No. Not wasting my money on something they didn't decide to waste their money on. So that's simple as that.
What if it came out as like a PlayStation Plus game for a month?
Yeah, if I don't have to pay for it, sure.
Interesting.
I still probably won't play it, but I don't care for that. I feel like it's just a shitty
Fair.
version of Grand Theft Auto that's just shittier. And so
I don't know. Somebody knows, I'm sure.
yeah, well, I don't. Yeah, no intention to play that game.
Well,
Ever.
if any of our listeners are interested in Cyberpunk or have played it, feel free to comment. Let us know if you're now, considering trying it out again or for the first time.
Yes, or telling it can go fuck itself like I do. Because no, they've lost any game they ever release. I probably will never probably play. I am not hated about it.
There you go. Moving on, a couple other quick gaming news. One that Alex is probably excited for. Horizon Forbidden West comes out this Friday. Alex, are you picking it up this Friday?
Well, to answer this thing here, considering trying it out for the first time, what are we trying out here?
Cyberpunk, clearly.
Well, you make a mistake. You can be the majority here of making mistakes.
The majority, the grand majority.
No, I will not. I can't afford it right now, but I will when I can.
Fair enough. And if anybody from Guerrilla Games is listening, hook Alex up with a copy for a press copy for review. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
you can
Stop making
you can
games
only you
$90.
can't get
Then yeah,
enough reviews. You know,
yeah, it's true. You could. I could also tell the game. Maybe it could be horrible. It could be great.
it'd be
You never
horrible.
know.
I mean, I looked it up on
Well,
Metacritic yesterday, and it was getting about an 89 based on around 100 critic reviews. So I mean, like those 100 people could be mostly wrong.
mm, it's true. They could be bought. Society
It could be
nowadays, you
bought.
never know.
Yes,
Money is a very powerful, powerful excellent.
indeed, 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 indeed.
Are you gonna buy it?
Not right away. So some person dropped off Guardians of the Galaxy for me, so I'm gonna
I
probably
feel
check
like you should
that
probably
out.
pay the game that's out now, so everyone can review it. Because the Guardians game's not going anywhere.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if I'll be picking it up right away or not, but I actually one game I did finish recently last night. Actually, I finished Halo Infinite last night. It was okay.
Or yawn. God, Xbox. Yawn, 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 yawn.
Oh man. Yeah, Halo Infinite. It was all right. I've played every Halo game. I've
Yeah,
played every story and I've beaten every Halo game.
yeah.
While playing this game, I was like, am I missing something? Did I miss a game? Like did something happen that I just wasn't aware of? And like at this point, like I know I've played all the games, so I know I haven't missed anything there. I don't particularly remember the fifth one all that well. It just was not particularly good. And critically, like it was like reviewed as such, not being, a terrific entry in the series. But even still, I felt like, like something had happened in the story that I just wasn't aware of. And by the end of the game, I think I figured it out that that was by design. They wanted you to, realize, oh, some time has passed since you last saw Chief, and you're going to catch up on what has happened in the events that occurred throughout the game. And by the end of the game, you'll know what happened. It just like it didn't feel cohesive. It didn't feel like, it was like made out to be like, yes, you're going to learn as it goes along. And that really threw me off. And so I am going to look up and see like, how others reviewed the game. I want to see others' opinions on it. I also want to see like, was there a narrative? Some games lately have like pre-comics that have been coming out as of late, or there's like a short story, or in some cases there's been animes for some games as of late that kind of give you a bit of like what's going on in this world or what's leading up to this game. One of the most famous ones that I really enjoyed was how Injustice did it when they did their whole comic book line leading up to the story of the Injustice fighting game that came out years ago. And that was just like, that was awesome. I really enjoyed how they approached it. And yeah, so I'm curious if Halo did anything like that, or if it was just like, here's the game, figure out the story on your own, good luck. I genuinely don't know.
Well, you see, Halo is the most confusing story of all time, so I'm not surprised. It makes no sense. I try to watch a video and try to explain it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It's all over the fucking place, and then the story doesn't go here, and then it goes there. I
I
mean,
never struggled it while playing them before though. Like maybe once 4 and 5 came out, like definitely like during the Bungie era of Halo, I did not struggle to follow the story. It made a lot of sense. They even had extended novels if you wanted to get into it. I just couldn't care to read. But since 343 took over and Bungie went off and did Destiny, and how that went, I just haven't felt like the story has been cohesive anymore. And I do agree with you. I do feel like it's kind of gotten really convoluted. When it wasn't convoluted to begin with, it was actually really straightforward to follow. Like when I would think of like a big space opera, I think of Mass Effect as a game that's like huge narrative and a lot of stuff happening, and it's really hard to like really truly understand all the inner workings and the history and all that stuff. Like Halo at its core was a very straightforward, like humans went to space and got into war. Like pretty straightforward, not hard to
yeah, I mean,
follow.
it's very similar to Mass Effect. Once if you just play the story straight, the story is very strippable of Mass Effect. It's all the side stuff that Mass Effect. What makes Mass Effect so grand is that there's so much to do, and it is eventually all connected in the end. But um, yeah, Mass Effect in comparison, Mass Effect's just a straightforward story, and if Halo is too. But a Halo story, I
Mhm.
guess, from watching the videos I watched, are very fucking confusing because it just
Mm.
didn't make sense. Like, oh, there's a planet freezing here, and then this alien takes over, and then oh no, they don't want to fight them anymore. They want to fight these guys, and then it's just like what?
It's
But there's no
political.
reason.
It is, yeah.
There's no
Yeah, it is
reason
very
for the fight
political.
over these guys, and then Earth gets involved, and there's a whole thing. It's like, okay, cool, we should destroy them. Well, no, well, maybe not. You know what? We should destroy these guys. You know what? We just hate them for being them. It's like a whole thing. It makes no sense.
It's a whole thing, indeed, indeed. But yeah, that my review of Halo Infinite, probably like an 8. Like I wouldn't give it like I think a lot of the scores that it got when it came out were like in the 9s. And like while like certainly the controls are pretty good on the whole, there were times that I was frustrated. Not specifically controlling Chief and running around and like using like he now has like a grapple hook type thing. I can't actually remember what it's called, but basically it shoots out a la Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, and then you can kind of like pull yourself, up to get into like areas that otherwise you wouldn't be able to jump into. You can pull weapons towards you or other items off the ground. So like it's that was really handy. He had a few other new tools in his arsenal that I didn't really use a whole heck of a lot of. I just didn't like find I needed to use them throughout the game. And I always find like if you're gonna throw in a couple like new skills and techniques, like they need to be purposeful, and I just never at any point felt the need to use them. But that just might be because my play style is much more like movement heavy, and it's not very like plant yourself and just do like minor movements. So, to each their own. But the parts that really frustrated me were a lot of the vehicles. The vehicle controls have never been amazing in Halo, but you got to a point where you're really proficient with how it worked. Now that was good enough. And in this one, I just felt like everything felt like off. Like you can never get to a point where it just felt like no matter what you like the controls translated to what you're doing on screen. And specifically where it bothered me the most was driving the Scorpion or the tank, like the UNSC army tank. In past Halo games, if there was AI walking around, the AI could hop on the sides of the tank and you could be driving up with like 5 different AI. In this one, only one non-playable character can hop in with you, and they hop in the gunner. Nobody else can hop on the damn thing. So like you have to drive it at like 3/4 speed if you want to bring any troops with you into any battle. And then, when you're trying to like, aim the cannon and drive the thing sideways, the controls change what make it go forward and backwards depending on where you're looking.
Sure.
And that got really frustrating for me because I'm so used to being able to like look one direction and be strafing in another direction, and it's always consistent. And I couldn't, like, you can't do it. It's not possible. It's just, that was so infuriating to me. So multiple times I wanted to use the tank, and because of the controls, I just abandoned it. So for me, game gets an 8. The story was okay. The gameplay, other than the vehicle controls, was good. I'm probably not going to get into the multiplayer, so 8 out of 10. That's what it gets.
If it even deserves that.
um, one more thing on the gaming front. So last week we talked about the Mario Kart 8 announcement, how Mario Kart 8 on the Switch is getting 48 more tracks, which is super exciting for me because I love Mario Kart. But fear not, if you don't want to spend money on said tracks, but you want to play it with your friends, and that's the only time that you're going to play Mario Kart anyway, hey, you can still play the tracks. So it's pretty cool. Like if you play online and you play just like randomly in a global match or in a regional match, you can just end up on those tracks. You don't have to buy them to play in them. And same goes if you're playing with friends and you've got friends who have the tracks and they pick the track, and the random selector goes around and selects that track, you get to play on it there too. So if you don't have a spare buck or two to get these new tracks, fear not, you can still partake in them if you only play online, like most of us do these days anyway. So there we go. That's gaming news.
Fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gaming.
Actually, I do have one more thing to say on that. Thank you, Nintendo, for doing that, because there's a lot of games that I've played. Beat Saber is one that really pisses me off. That, Alex, you could own a certain music pack. Let's say you bought the Linkin Park Beat Saber pack.
Okay.
and we're playing online, and you're
Yeah.
hosting. If you choose the Linkin Park Beat Saber pack or one of the songs in it to play, it will force me into a spectator mode. So I can listen to the song, but I'm not allowed to play it. Figure that one out. Like, typically speaking, when you're looking at like DRM for a song, it's either you can listen to it or you're not. But in this case, in Beat Saber, the way they chose to like incentivize you to spend money to buy the pack is that you can watch your friend play it, but you can't play it unless you've paid for it. Like, that was just like, come on. Like, I
Yeah.
get it if you don't want to let me do it on solo. I get if you don't even want to like track my score, but at least let me play with my friend who's hosting like an online match. Like, think about like all the times that we've played games sitting on a couch side by side. I buy the DLC, you get to enjoy it in multiplayer because you're playing it at my place. There's no way to do that in VR. So like, why would you lock that? That's just, to me, it's just like penny pinching, trying to like extract as much money from your players as you can. And I'm always gonna be, not stoked about that behavior. So do better, game makers. Be kinder to your players. That's what keeps them coming back.
Well, they don't care about us. They only care about the money.
Indeed.
And then money runs the world, you know? Money runs
Unfortunately,
the
yes.
world.
Yep. Yep.
So there's no winning in that shot. But what can you do?
What we can do is move on and talk about some exciting stuff in the TV world. Ho, ho, ho.
Is it exciting or is it generic? We'll never know until right now.
Dum dum dum.
Burn.
Well,
What?
Alex, what's coming up in the TV world? What's the news?
I don't know. I'm distracted.
Uh-oh. What's going on?
I don't know. You tell me. You tell me, because this feels
All
like
right,
this
all
is
right.
more your.
I'll talk. So for those Blade Runner fans out there, which apparently there's a lot of you,
Why?
I mean, I get it. Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner, is a difficult watch today, but I can definitely still appreciate and respect the work and the vision that went into it for the time. It was actually quite groundbreaking, even though that it wasn't commercially successful when it came out. It has gained a huge following, and for good reason. I completely understand, like, the special effects were way ahead of their time. Even though that, yeah, it's a super slow paced narrative for today's standards. It was a tremendous, like, um creation of a movie, a production, the whole thing. It was very impressive. I really enjoyed Blade Runner 2049. I thought it was a super beautifully well done movie. Like, it just, like, visually stunning. In many ways, it's kind of like Dune for me, where, like, very stunning from an audio visual production standpoint. Yeah, sometimes the acting's flat. Heck, they they hired or cast Dave Bautista and Ryan Gosling, neither of whom are known for tremendous performances. But this is probably one of the best places to cast them, because they were both robots anyway. So who gives a shit? Like, robots, I don't expect to have strong emotions. So whatever. 2049, really impressive movie visually. If that's what you're looking for, similar to Dune. Blade Runner 2099 is coming to the small screen. So we're getting, from director and creator Ridley Scott and Amazon, we're getting a TV series. So it will be live action, unlike I think there was an animated Blade Runner not too long ago, but this will be live action. What do you think, Alex? Are you going to watch it?
No. Well,
What if
anything
your old...
Ridley Scott has done has been pretty garbage. So I can't guarantee.
I know he's hit or miss. I don't think everything that he's done has been garbage.
What
Like,
was the last thing he liked that he did?
let's see. Let's look up Ridley Scott. Let's see what he's done in the last 5 to 10 years, okay? And we'll judge it based off of that. All right. So 2015, he did The Martian. I'd say that was a high point.
It was based off the book. I thought on him.
Well, he still made the movie. It was a good movie. I have not seen House of Gucci.
It was the best comedy of the year. So
I haven't seen the last Duel or House of Gucci. I've watched a couple episodes of Raised by Wolves. I wanted to watch more. I just wasn't in the right mindset for it. It is a very like intense, slow, dramatic sci-fi. So that one I'm gonna
Let's
give
let's
like
let's talk
a
about what he did as a director,
neutral.
because he didn't
Uh,
direct
sure,
those.
sure. Yeah, well, I'm going through his
Um,
director stuff. Well, he directed 2 episodes of
mm,
Raised by Wolves.
eh.
Alien Covenant was hot garbage. You're right on that. Martian was good. Prometheus, I really enjoyed. I know it was like controversial. Not everybody loved it, but I really enjoyed Prometheus. He did Robin Hood in 2010.
Garbage.
It wasn't terrible. It was pretty good. It was long.
Did we watch the same
Um,
movie? Or...
that was the one with Russell Crowe, right?
Yeah, it was garbage.
Yeah, no,
It
it wasn't
went nowhere. There was no purpose to that film. Like
garbage.
Robin Hood's such an easy story to tell. It literally went nowhere. They didn't even
All right.
have like a really fantastic love story in it or anything.
Mm.
It was just there. She like
Yeah, but
she was just there. He was just there.
Alan
And
Doyle
like,
from Great Big Sea was part of the cast, Alex.
oh,
So it was
that
a good
just
movie.
makes it perfect.
To be fair, yeah, you know what? He hasn't done a whole heck. Like, I would say he's done more not so great stuff in the last 10 years than he's done good stuff.
Mhm. He's one of the
So
directors who can't get over the fact that cinema's changed, and
no, yeah, I
it
agree. He's
bothers
really
him.
trying to push still for the way things were done. He's
Like he's
that
just now he's
holdout.
just you know calling it in, because like when you're doing movies
Mm,
like House of Gucci, now he's just trying to get that Oscar, and it didn't work for him.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Last Duel, that's just because those guys pulled in a lot of money to do it, and that
yeah.
also failed miserably. And that's because he rejected the idea of going to streaming services for it,
Hmm.
which at the
Yeah,
time of like he had all the time in the
would have
world
been
to
the
do
right
that,
thing to do.
and he
Yeah,
chose not to. Even Ben
yep,
Affleck said that was the reason that movie failed.
yeah.
Um, House of Gucci was just a poorly written script, from what
To
I'm
be
to
honest, though, like
understand.
when I look at the Last Duel, that to me feels like a movie that would have been really successful in the mid 2000s. I like it was just that kind of movie, that storytelling, that
I
place in
haven't
history
watched it
was
yet,
more
but
popular 15, 20 years ago than it is right now.
it depends, because this right now the story like it was very female based. The story is
Mm,
about the woman, right? So
okay.
from what
And
I'm
yet,
to
why
understand,
is she not on any of the advertising when I see it pop up on banners and whatnot?
she is, but
Is she?
yeah.
Because I feel like
Uh,
I always see Adam Driver and like Matt Damon on the
Yeah,
cover.
they're like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are going to be the biggest names on it, but Jodie Comer
Sure.
has, I'm pretty sure, has more awards than both of them.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah,
All I'm saying is like if it's gonna be based on her, she should get the spotlight
I know,
more.
but you
You know what I
can't
mean?
like society, right?
Yeah.
Because you also got to look at like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck helped write it, so they're
Sure.
obviously they're going to push their names as well more so.
Yeah.
Um, but it is like I don't know if you know the story at all, but it is literally
I
about
don't.
a king who or a knight, two knights fighting over this woman because this woman accuses one of the knights for raping her,
Mm,
basically.
interesting.
Um, and then but everyone believes she's making it up and all that stuff as
Mm,
well. And so he challenges him to a duel, and if he loses, blah blah blah. It's a whole thing. It's actually
yeah.
based off a book as
Okay.
well. Um, but yeah, like it would have like also like it's very like if you watch the trailers that I've seen, she's very prominent in it. Like
Mm.
I find like even on the picture, like the trailer, the poster, she's the main character you see.
But she's the only one that you see like a full like body of, but she's the smallest. I'd like you can
Mm,
barely make her. I don't know.
the poster I'm looking at,
Maybe
let's
we're
see,
looking at different posters. I'm looking at the one on IMDb.
same sign. She's very prominent. Like she takes up
Yeah.
probably 50, well, 30% of the poster, while everyone else takes 20.
Fair. Fair.
Like, I mean,
Um.
granted, she's a TV actress, right? So this is like one of her
Yeah.
biggest
Yeah.
movies that come out, other than like Free Guy and all that shit. But
Sure. Yeah. Bit of trivia that I just caught on IMDb, which I find very funny. Matt Damon struggled to grow facial hair. What is it with Matts that can't grow facial hair? Anyway, so the makeup department had to try out 20 different beards to apply to his face. He
mhm.
reportedly got a skin rash underneath the stuck-on beard, which was so irritating he had to be treated with ice packs after every scene while shooting the movie. That just
So
sounds
weird.
horrible.
The thing with this movie I found is like Matt Damon's old. Like he's not like he's
Yeah.
old. He's not like crazy old, but like to be facing somebody like Adam Driver, maybe that's the point of the movie, but I feel like they could have casted somebody younger
Mm,
and played the part just as good. Again, haven't watched the movie. Should watch the movie before I judge it. But just looking at it, it's just like it doesn't make sense. You know,
mhm.
I mean, back then in the day, sure, they would be dating women much, much younger than them. But
Yes, yeah. But I mean, they were all
it's-
much younger in general, you
yes,
know?
but it just doesn't make sense. And Matt Damon, like, just doesn't. It just looks old, and especially in comparison to like Ben Affleck, who's literally the same age as him.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck looks 10 times younger than Matt Damon. I don't know. That's just
Yep,
me.
yep.
I
I think
just
it's the way they like they like made
like
them up, you know what I mean?
even real
Like
life. Like I'm gonna show you a picture here, and it's like
sure.
they look two different ages, and I'm pretty sure they're the same fucking age.
That's
Let me see if I
funny.
can find it.
I do agree though. I feel like Ben Affleck tends to, stay on top of his looks a bit more than like
Look at
Matt Damon
that.
just kind of looks like a guy that's aging.
Look at that. Like
Yeah.
they look too different.
That
I
doesn't
know,
even
like
that was at the premiere for the last duel. I was gonna say that looked like an older picture too.
no, it's like this is the premiere of the
Interesting.
movie. Like, look at how old he looks and look compared to
Yeah.
him. Like I
To
assume
be
Matt
fair,
Damon,
like
Ben Affleck, probably like you
Affleck's got
said.
some wrinkles going on there as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
But
but I mean, like even the hair, I'm sure he takes more care
yeah.
of himself than Matt Damon does. But like the gray hairs are
Has
not
has Ben
necessarily
Affleck
there.
been like losing some weight? Because like I would say
Well,
like
I mean, when you
he
stop
looked a bit
drinking, yeah, that's gonna
burlier.
happen.
Yeah, but he like as like Batman, he looked fairly like he looked like
Well, if you
strong,
look at
like
the end of
heavier set, like
the Justice League,
muscle,
the
you know?
Jack Snyder Justice League, when
Yeah,
Manhunter shows up, you can
sure.
tell that he's already quit the job and he's already started
Right,
lost weight. You can tell
right.
he stopped drinking. Like you could just tell
Mm,
his lifestyle has changed.
yeah,
Because just how skinny he got, and I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
just him going through whatever he's going through.
Fair. Yeah, yeah.
But you know, I'll stop sharing the screen here. But yeah, um, it's just crazy. I think like Matt Damon, I mean, as a point needs like it's hard to give up acting, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but I think it's time for him to start picking roles more his age.
I mean, like
Personally,
if you look at like Stillwater, I haven't seen it yet, but like he definitely looks his age in that
hmm
show, you know what I mean? That movie. Apparently he put on a terrific performance as well. I just think the struggle that he's had over the last year is that he's been on like this kind of like half like canceled, like not full canceled. He hasn't done anything like dramatic enough to be canceled, but like people have certainly been a bit more critical towards him as an individual over the past year. And
yeah.
for some reasons that I don't even truthfully follow or understand, but I know like the
Well, he
most recent.
defended Weinstein. That was his thing.
Oh, was that the thing? Okay,
He
well
kind
that's
of
not a good
defended
look.
Weinstein. He didn't defend him, but he told
Okay.
people it's come out that he told people not to like say anything about him.
So like maybe still like in that fear or I don't know.
Yeah, it was like the way it was posted, like the way it's come out is that he
Mhm.
that the women shouldn't have said anything,
Oh,
or
that's
like
kind
it
of
was really really awkwardly placed that he
mm,
basically, if you summed it all down, it sounded like he was defending Weinstein
mm.
when he should have, or he
Yeah, yeah,
had the
yeah.
chance to come out. He's one of the
Bad
guys who
call.
knew about the stuff that was going on and chose not
Oh,
to. That was
yeah.
what it is,
That's
I think,
not
more so than
that ain't
it was
a
something
that ain't
weird.
a
It
good
was
look.
something like he knew
Yeah.
something or he said something about the
Mm.
Weinstein incident, and everyone was like, "Well, that was stupid."
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Well,
but I don't know. I mean, I don't really care for the movies he's picking for the most part, anyways.
yeah, they
Um,
haven't really interested me in a
like,
while
well,
now.
I mean, you wanted to see Ford versus Ferrari. I didn't care
Oh,
for that.
that was a terrific movie though. That was really well done.
I don't care for
Like
Stillwater.
Christian
I
Bale
know.
did a really good job as well in that.
I mean, did I watch Downsizing? I
I've seen
did.
Downsizing.
It wasn't
Not
that
great.
great.
No, it wasn't. Yeah,
Um,
same goes with that one with Emily Blunt. The informant was good. He did a good job in that role.
Never saw that one.
But the one with Emily Blunt, where there's like almost like a secret society that makes sure that everybody stays on the right path. Like they kind of
That was
pick
a
and
long time ago.
choose
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
how things were done. I feel like that was like early 2010s, like maybe
Well, I mean,
2013.
like, look at the last. Like, he's picking the Great Wall. That makes no
Mm.
sense. Somebody saw that. Interstellar. He's just there. Um,
Yeah, well, he was basically just the same character that he was in The Martian. Like
mhm.
that was such a
You're thinking of
bizarre.
Monuments Men, I think.
Is
No,
that
that
what it
movie
was?
was no.
No,
That
no,
movie
that was
sucked
something
too.
else.
That was a stupid movie. That was when they would just
Matt.
find art, and then there's like 20 of old guys just sticking together. 20 old white guys. That was like
Adjustment Bureau. That's what I was trying to
yeah,
get. 2011 it came out.
like the Monuments Man. I'm gonna go back on this one because this movie
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so like everyone
Wasn't John
loved it.
Goodman in that?
Yeah. So here's the cast, and then I'm
I
just
haven't
gonna
seen
read it
it.
out loud.
Yeah.
George Clooney, Matt Damon, Bill Murray, John Goodman, uh, Bob Babalan, which you'd recognize if you saw him,
Yeah.
and Kate Blanchett. Those are the top names,
Yeah.
and I get it. It's
Yeah.
like World War II era,
Yep.
or even earlier. I can't remember. Yeah, World War II era. I'm not a colored person in sight, so. And it was, let's see, there's tons of rewards for it. It's just, I don't know, it just bothers me now
Yeah.
more so
Yeah.
than it used
Yeah.
to. But
I think we're more aware now. Like we're actively paying more attention to those things. It's less like just the norm and accepted to just assume like, oh, movie, it's gonna be a bunch of just
it's
white
just it
people,
got a lot of credit,
right?
and like a lot of people hated it too. But a lot of gave it a lot of credit
Mm.
because George Clooney directed it and wrote it, and it
His
was just
dad was in
like,
it. And he played it. He literally played his dad in the movie.
yeah. Anyways, that's just and just like movies he picks are kind of back
Mm.
to Matt Damon's movies to kind of
Yeah.
pick like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm
Fair.
over Matt Damon. Anyways, he's done nothing to impress me.
Matt Damon.
And then there's Ben Affleck, totally opposite. Like, let's see, Ben Affleck.
Well, what's that most recent one that just came out with him? I think it's on Amazon Prime. I've been meaning to check it out.
So Ben Affleck's actually younger than Matt Damon, so I'll give him that.
Okay. Okay.
By 2 years, not a big deal. Um,
Not those ages.
uh, let's see, but Ben Affleck has more Oscars, so suck it.
I think he's done a better job of picking his roles. Let's be real, and like he's done a good job with the movies he's directed as well.
He doesn't have any acting at Oscars. Neither of them do. But like obviously they both share the Guild Will Hunting one.
Yep.
But Ben Affleck has the best pick for best motion picture for Argo, because he wrote and directed that. And maybe it's because I like Ben Affleck because we have the same birthday, but that doesn't mean anything.
Oh
and
yeah,
he's
so the Tender
Batman.
Bar. The Tender Bar is the
So.
most recent one that came out. That looks pretty good. The Way Back was a good movie. Yeah, he's got a pretty good list of movies. Like he's done a pretty good job throughout his career of
People
just
loved
crap.
a
I
lot
really
of
loved
stuff
The
like
Town that he was in, and that he directed that.
people loved The Accountant. Still one of my favorite Batmans.
Accountant.
Gone Girl was a very popular movie.
I've ever seen The Accountant.
Runner was surprising that he was really well in. Runner is like when I started really taking him seriously. Like Argo was good, but I don't know. I felt like
Runner to me was such a paint by numbers movie. I completely forgot we ever saw that. Like I'm looking through the photos, I'm like,
movie,
it looks familiar, but like
in the ending, the movie was kind of garbage. But like his performance in it was like he's kind of saved what everything that was in that film. Because he was granted it was pitted against Timberlake and Gemma Arterton, who's not the most famous actress in the world.
Yeah,
but and he was the star of that film, even though he's the villain in it. I don't know. I just felt like his performance in that was a lot better than what he used to be doing. And before, he was that Hollywood hunk kind of guy trying to get there. Same with Matt Damon. But anyways, that's my hatred for that.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was a long segue off of Blade Runner 2099 coming out on Amazon and directed by Ridley Scott. Moving on, we have a teaser out for Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power. And apparently there's some backlash, something about a missing beard. Alex, did you want to divulge?
Well, there's more than just a missing beard backlash. You're trying to be sensitive here, man. Let's not try to hide what is happening.
Stuff. What's going on?
Everyone's racist in the world. Did you know that?
Are they?
Apparently, when it comes to Lord of the Rings.
Uh-oh.
So, like, you sent me that post of their pictures.
Yep.
On Instagram. You did not read the comments like I asked you to. You should have. because they were hilarious and just proved every point in my head that on time when I talked about how Lord of the Rings is the most racist book in the world. Other than some other Hitler stuff, but
Fair.
I'm just kidding. It's not racist. It has just a very tinted racism background.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I mean, so Amazon clearly started taking some down those comments, so you can't really find them anymore.
Yeah.
Which I mean, to be fair, they should. But there's a lot of stupid stuff about it, like because now there's a black elf, and black dwarves. But the problem with a lot of people have a problem with the dwarf not having a beard, I mean, she being a female, which fair enough, that makes sense.
Yep.
But the black people being mad about black people being in Lord of the Rings. They said there's no black people. There's literally comments saying there's no black people in Lord of the Rings. You guys are ruining his vision. Blah blah blah. This blah 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 that. The best one was the one I read was there's two. I'll say them. They're pretty bad. One was like, oh man, they're changing history. They're taking away. They're blackwashing history.
History.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
everyone realizes this is a fictional book, right?
Well, yeah. Can we talk a little bit about history when it comes to fictional narratives and stories? Okay. Yes. A lot of art is a product of its time. But art is never really finished, is it? Like nobody has a finished art piece. It's just done to a certain point. And when we're talking about a story, a book, whatever, that's supposed to, appeal to its readers and really like that's a lot of what like books are is it's an opportunity for you to read and like leave the world that's around you and enter this place that you can enjoy and love and escape into. Escapism is a big part of what I'm trying to say here. And to get upset about somebody taking creative liberties to like create a television story, like it's a television series, it's still telling the stories. What movie based on a book have you seen that has ever followed to a T exactly how things are done? It's pretty few compared to the most adapted screenplays make changes, they combine characters, they adjust other characters, they choose to do things differently. Why is this the one that you die on? Is it because Lord of the Rings is so like ancient now and it like you can't touch it? Well, if that's the case, they shouldn't have made a show on it, if that's what you're trying to say, because it needs to evolve. It needs to be a product of its time. And right now, this will be a story adapted for 2022 standards. 2022 standards are a lot more forward thinking and accepting of everyone, as we should, in portraying the actual reality of our world than to just live in this like idea that there's one race in this giant mystical land.
So here's the thing about Lord of the Rings, and I've said this before in the we were talking about it, and this is to the point, like it was written at a time when racism was high, sure. I mean, racism hasn't gone away, but and it was written by a guy who literally depicted the Earth as all white as it should be in this dark area. If you look at the maps and combine it with Earth's map, it is very central to England, like the western side of Europe, and then the dark side being Mordor and all that stuff. Very Middle Eastern. And that's why you see all the dark orcs and all the orcs are dark colored and all this stuff. And all the bad creatures are dark and something. Like a lot of people are like, oh, that's just light versus dark. And I'm like, yes, but he wrote it a specific way for a specific reason.
He pulled on it from something in his life that influenced his decision making on that.
And yes, you have to realize this guy was fucking crazy, because he believes, and it is well proven that, and he's written about this himself before he died, that he believed that he is writing this story based off of history himself. So he believes that this, like the era that the three original books, not the original books, because Hobbit is the original book, but the Lord of the Rings books are written is the third age, or the fourth age, or something like that,
of our history. Yeah.
So, and the new TV show is the third history. So, I mean, at the beginning of the fourth um history, not history. What's the words they use? Fourth
Age.
age is at the end of third age, and where the third age of um kind of falls apart, and that's why we don't see any of those people like that anymore. But the fourth age is is the age of men. So everyone that's like he believes that's when it started like 600,000 like 6,000 BC. That's when he
Sure.
believes it because he believes he's read it in a book somewhere that this was history. So that's how crazy this fucking stuff is in the
Yeah.
first place. And then
Yeah.
there's always gonna be the diehard fans. Oh, blah blah blah. There's no black elves. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, how would you know? Like, if this is like, if this is
Exactly.
even the history, how would
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Show me
You know
one
what I mean?
place in the books that says there's not a single elf in this entire world that is not of white skin color.
Mhm.
And then like ask yourself a question. Why do you care?
And like, he only shows the one part of Middle Earth. Like, there's the rest of Earth, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's ridiculous. This is the other comment that made me laugh, and this might be the end of it. Is just that, oh man, they're stealing our culture. All they have is rap music, and I just laughed. I was like, what the fuck? So basically, the comments did not pass the vibe check, and it doesn't look like Amazon is backing down anyway. So they're gonna go forward
No,
if
of course
everything.
not.
So
Separate from this topic, but still on the teaser. I think some of our fears are coming to light, Alex, in that once again, Amazon is not proving their visual prowess, if I must say. I found a lot of the shots felt very similar in visual quality to what we got out of the Wheel of Time, which does not give me high hopes for the quality of the show.
yes, well, hopefully they fix.
They have time. They have time. Like, this is still like, it's a teaser. It's very early, and typically when it comes to visual effects, a lot of times when you see a trailer or a teaser, your shots are incomplete. So
Yeah,
they have time. It's a very expensive show. Please tell me it will look better than that. That's all I have to say.
yeah. Well, in the end, it is. It's luckily for them and for us
Yeah.
that it's not following the Hobbit story. It's this. It's age. It's the third age before anything happens in the book.
Yeah.
Years before anything happens in the
Oh,
book.
like we've
We're gonna
seen
see
what happens in The
Elrond. I
Hobbit.
think
We've
his
seen
name
what
is
happens during
Elrond.
The Lord of the Rings. Let's see what led to this. Let's get some
Yeah.
of these older stories going that are
I think we're
equally as
seeing.
juicy. Yeah.
I think we're seeing Elrond as like a child.
Yeah.
So that's how old it is. And Elrond's like
Cool.
fucking 1,000 years old.
Yeah. Sick. Well, I'm excited. I mean, I will be watching it. I hope we can get past some of this.
Oh, we'll never get
crappy
past it. But
critics.
I think people are just going to be mad because oh, it's got to be
They're looking
exactly
for a
like the
reason to
book
be mad. Yeah.
or something. Or is this? Sorry. The book. So the show is the second age. Sorry, it's not the third age. The third age is what we saw in the books. Because then the fourth age is the men that we don't see anymore. That's when it ends. The books end right before age 4.
Yep, for sure.
Anyways,
sweet.
Stupid.
That's television news. On to our favorite topic, movies. Oh my god, movies. I like movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
That Nope trailer. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope is a pretty good, accurate term for how I'm gonna feel while watching that movie.
Why? Because you're scared of what's happening, or you're racist?
Scared of what's happening.
The reason it's called Nope is because how you would react to that situation. Oh, there's this thing coming out of the sky. Nope, not dealing with that. Running away.
Exactly. So, I think it's great. I think they did a really, like, Jordan Peele, like I struggled a little bit with the first movie. Why can't I think of the name of it? His first
Get Out.
Get Out. I struggled a little bit with that one. I understood it. It just, like, by the end of it, I was just kind of like, okay, like, this is kind of like weird narrative. I get what he's doing. It's just like I was uncomfortable, I guess is the best way I can describe it.
Which was the intent for white people, yes.
Yeah, so in which case, like, masterful job. Did a great job. Us was like terrific, and I think part of it really helped where we saw it, the
Oh
setting we
yes,
were
the
in.
experience
Like
we had with it was a lot
that was
different.
terrific. That was amazing. That was like I couldn't have asked for a better, um, audience to be sitting in
Yeah.
with while watching that movie. That was fantastic. I loved it. And that really like helped me really enjoy the movie, which I've seen since, and I still think it's a really good movie. I think he did a fantastic job. And it's really got me excited for Nope now. Like Nope,
Mhm.
introducing some aliens into it, or at least what looks to be aliens. I'm assuming it's gonna be aliens, but like
Yeah, you never know.
you know, you can read through between the lines, and see exactly what he's trying to say, or at least I think I can. But
Or it's gonna be Earth trying to kill us all again.
yeah, whatever.
Either one.
Yeah, either way, I'm excited. I want to see it.
Yeah, it'll be good. I think it'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Um. Yep. Nope.
Nope.
Anyways. Um. What else would we get? They announced today that because Paramount Plus or Paramount itself, I guess, had
Yeah,
their um stockholders meeting or something, investment meeting
stakeholders.
or something like that. Stupid.
Yeah.
And that's when they announced a bunch of their stuff. Biggest
Mm.
thing that came out of that, I guess, is that Star Wars 4 is going to happen.
Star Trek.
Star Trek, whatever, same thing.
Whoa. Haters gonna hate.
Oh, one's more refined than the other, but that's fine. I won't say which.
Well, that's cool. Is there any like talk of like, is it gonna be Simon Pegg writing it again, or
I didn't really
who's
say.
gonna be
Well,
directing?
I mean, what's his face is going to produce it.
J.J. Abrams? Is he coming
J.J.
back to
Abrams.
produce
Yeah,
it?
he's going to
Okay.
produce it,
Okay.
and they're hopeful that all the cast will come back. I think
Hmm.
most will. They're just hopeful the schedules work out.
Yeah, like the third one, like did not leave a particularly strong taste in the mouth. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
the second one also was just okay. Like the first one was a strong start in this entry. The second one was okay. The third one was like I can't remember what happened in the third one. So
Yeah, I don't know, something about
I'll use
Romulans
for
and
that.
then not Romulans and then
Yeah,
I don't know, not
yeah.
human beings.
I
I
do
don't know.
remember like visually, like it had a lot of color in the third one. The third one was Star Trek Beyond, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Well,
yeah.
yeah, we'll see. Let's see what goes down with the fourth one. But let's get to the real encore here. What are we here to talk about today, Alex? This has been the thing since Monday. Monday did this trailer come out, or was it on the
Sunday,
weekend?
Sunday,
Sunday. Okay.
not the Super Bowl.
Um.
Wow, Matt,
Yeah.
pay attention. You tell me, Matt, what
That's
happened
sports.
on Sunday?
Well, Alex, I'm glad you asked because we got a trailer for Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and it is bonkers, and I am stoked.
Yeah. Oh,
So there's a lot to dissect. I think there's been a lot of videos already of people like going like piece by piece, clip by clip, to try and pull it out. But some of the things that really stuck out for me anyway. Wanda just looks annoyed AF. She's just like, why when I do this stuff, people get mad and like villainize me, but when you do this stuff, it's okay. Well, Wanda, he's a white male, so he's gonna get away with it. That's why. No, he's
it's true.
he already has a movie. Wanda. That's why. Wanda should have a movie.
Not really. Character's not that important. Her character is based off everyone else's, so I think the way she wrote it is fine. Go on.
But my real thing that I'm like most excited for, and the possibilities that this brings together, especially now that Disney owns Fox. Fox did the X-Men movies. We're getting into the multiverse. At least it sounds like we heard Patrick Stewart talking in some kind of like between multiverses. It almost sounds like another kind of organization similar to what we saw in Loki, but just another organization that deals with multiverses instead of branching timelines. It sounds like Patrick Stewart, and as most people should know, if they pay attention at all to comic book movies, is that Patrick Stewart played Professor X in the X-Men movies. I'm really hoping this is where they bridge the X-Men films in with the MCU. This is where I think if it's going to happen, this is where they're going to do it. What do you think, Alex?
Well, there's a lot to unpack here. And a
Yes,
lot
there
of
is.
things that might just blow your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, first things first, I talk about, yeah, there's a lot of things in there. You see a statue of him, which, if it's the one part of Doctor Strange, is that the idea is that he sacrificed himself and not Iron Man. So we have the idea that we might even see Iron Man again. A lot of
Yeah.
rumors it's Tom Cruise. You'll be playing Iron
Hmm.
Man. He was
Interesting.
supposed to play Iron Man in the 80s or 90s, whenever they originally were
Yeah,
going
I
to
think it
do
was the 90s. Yeah.
when they were going to originally do it, and they just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, There's also, we see obviously zombie Doctor Strange, which I think will be a lot have to do with a lot of it. I
Yep.
feel like a lot of the scenes we saw from the trailer were from that era,
Yep.
and then we'll see. We also saw um, when he's getting scraped through there. We see the one thing they kind of just didn't want to talk about was um, America Chavez,
Yep.
who is in. You see her for a couple seconds in the trailer, but she's in almost in every
Mm-hmm.
scene there.
Yeah.
But they just don't talk about her because we don't know
Yep.
who she is really. I mean, some
Yes.
of
Yeah.
us do.
She hasn't been introduced in the MCU yet.
Um,
Yep.
she was supposed to be in Spider-Man, so like the idea was that Spider-Man was supposed to come out after Doctor Strange, but
Right.
things got swapped around, so they had to change Spider-Man to make the multiverse work. Which
Yeah.
fine, whatever.
Yep.
So we see about that. We obviously receive the return of I don't remember her name. His love interest. Rachel McAdams
Rachel
is the
McAdams. Yeah.
actress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of talk about her because she also is another character in the comics as well,
Mm-hmm.
who's a very bad person, but also has the same powers as Doctor Strange. Eventually,
Right.
it's a long story there. And then we see this is how they're going to bring in the Sony characters
Mm-hmm.
in full shot. Not
Yep.
Sony, Fox characters full on. You see the Ultron bots again when they are leading up to this, meeting room with all these people in chairs, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where everyone is thinking it's the Illuminati. Now, the Illuminati is actually a actual focus group in the Marvel books,
Sure.
and they kind of control everything behind the scenes, as the Illuminati would.
Yep.
And the Illuminati is made out of Charles Xavier, Tony Stark, Mr. Incredible from Fantastic Four, and other people. And Doctor Strange is
Yep.
supposed to be one of them. So that's why you kind of hear him. Everyone thinks it's going to be. So there's obviously a lot of rumors. Somebody actually slowed down the trailer, and at one point it looks like it's animated behind them. And what is the one animated show that they announced that they're bringing back?
X-Men.
Exactly. So everyone thinks that the Charles Xavier we're seeing is the X-Men Charles Xavier from the from the animated
That would be
show.
hilarious.
Jesus. Because there's if you actually slow it down into one trailer, the one background looks completely 90s animated.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they did go through that.
Yeah.
Because it's
if they're gonna do that, we could
know,
also get Miles Morales'
this is how they could bring it up.
Spider-Verse.
Bridge it all together.
Man, that'd be interesting. That'd be some intense fandom happening right there.
Well, there's tons of stuff just in the trailer alone, like in the poster alone. One thing we're expected to see for sure is Charles Xavier, obviously. And the one thing is from that scene where they're all sitting on those chairs, the one on the far left, people have zoomed in on it, obviously, as they do. And it looks like a blue shirt and a white crest on his left arm, which is a Fantastic Four jersey.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to call it, suit, whatever.
Yeah.
So everyone thinks it's going to be Mr. Incredible. And the big rumor is that they already asked John Krasinski to come in and play Mr. Fantastic.
I did hear that. Yep.
To be a variant version of him and to see if the fans like it or not, or if he likes it or not. But also a lot of people are considering that it is the 2000 Mr. Fantastic. It looks a lot like his uniform.
I mean,
let's do anything.
Let's be real. Having a multiverse is kind of the perfect screen test where you don't have to commit to shit. You can just throw something out the wall and be like, let's see how it reacts in this movie. Who did people enjoy? Who are people talking about on the internet? If they're not talking about it, we just don't pursue that. You know what I mean? It's kind of a brilliant way to continue this ginormous collection of films.
So I just want to go through the real quick. I'm going to share it here. Is the poster? We get the poster of Doctor
Oh
Strange here.
yeah.
So there's lots you can see in here. So if we zoom in a few
Yep.
things here, I'm
Yep.
going to zoom in all the way, as much as we can.
Yep.
And we're gonna move down to this down corner here.
Okay.
We
What are we
see
looking at? Oh yeah.
the
Yeah. The what if shield for Captain
the Britain Captain
Carter.
America. What is
Captain
she called?
Carter. Yep.
Captain Britain or something?
No, I think she was just Captain Carter.
Captain Carter.
Peggy
Anyways,
Carter. Yeah.
so a lot of rumor of that showing
Yeah.
up. And
Cool.
I mean, it has
Good.
to now. It's in the
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah.
Obviously, we
What else do we
see
got?
America Chavez,
Yep.
Wanda, or Scarlet Witch in
Mhm.
that sense.
Yep.
There's Scarlet Witch again.
Yep.
What's her face? Rachel McAdams.
Mhm.
Either. So there's a couple of Doctor Strangers we see. We see the zombie one. We
Yep.
see his normal one. We see Dark Strange, and then we
Mhm.
see Defender Strange, and and then obviously Ejiofor's character.
Yep.
So I think this is Defender Strange here.
Yeah.
Here's one that's really surprising. There's obviously Wong. Now
Yep.
this one I'm going to show next. Everyone's very, very got a lot of opinions about it.
Look at the eye.
Obviously, the Minotaur,
Mhm.
and that's Dumanju or something. That little weird looking alien thing we saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
Dumanju or whatever.
Yeah.
Is this right? Is it this one? It's this one right here. This one right here. So everyone on the internet, not everyone, but a lot of people on the internet,
Yep.
a little bit more, is convinced that's Deadpool. So if you look really closely, you can see.
Yeah, it's a little
two
hard to make out,
eyes.
but I can see what you're saying.
And everything, and everyone, and it's apparently been confirmed that Deadpool.
Yeah, because you can kind of see the two shoulders, like the two
Mhm.
black, shoulders that are kind of shiny, and then the red outfit, and then
it
kind
could
of
also
a
be
red
Spider-Man
blob
for
head.
all we know.
I'm leaning more Deadpool though. I think you're right. I think the
I think
internet's
he's
right.
actually confirmed that he's actually in this film, but I don't know if that's true or not. So a lot of people are saying that's him. That was kind of the biggest one out of that. Obviously, we see the Minotaur, so obviously he's going to another universe.
That's cool.
Where the Minotaurs are there is a very famous Minotaur in the MCU, not MCU, the Marvel comics, but I don't know who he is.
Actually, in the trailer, if you see the scene where the clouds are coming over, what's the city where he trained to get his powers?
I can't remember. I'd have to watch.
Either way, you do see a Minotaur in the group of people training there. I can't remember the name of the place, but
so there's tons of little stuff like you see. Obviously, Zombie
this
Strange
is very
here.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm interested to see what this is. I don't know what that is very well, but
that kind of looks like Captain Marvel's crest.
Yeah, so there's that picture of the girl of somebody on fire basically in the trailer.
Yeah,
everyone thinks it's Captain Marvel, but I think it could be Lambo, like from what we saw in
in WandaVision.
In WandaVision, I think it's going to be her version. It's either her or it's Ironheart, which they have announced that Ironheart's getting her own TV show. But Ironheart is a child, like she's a teenager. So unless this is an older version of Ironheart or whatever, I think they've actually casted Ironheart. Let me see. Oh yeah. So no, I think that's just a. That's weird. Oh yeah, they have. Dominique Thorne is going to play Riri Williams. Anthony Ramos is going to be in it as well. And,
very cool.
Actually,
I did hear that Anthony Ramos, for those wondering, in the Heights, and I think he was in Hamilton as well, right?
Yeah. She was so we're gonna meet Riri Williams, who plays Ironheart, in Wakanda Forever, which comes out next year or this year.
Nice,
comes out later this year. So we'll see her first there, which kind of makes sense that she would be there because like that's a smart area. Like they're intelligent. You would think somebody smart out there would become. I don't know how she's gonna get that kind of thing, but we'll see where it comes from. With the multiverse opening up, we can have a new Iron Man, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So a lot of things coming out of that Doctor Strange thing. A lot of things you can break down. So we got 3 more months, so we'll get there.
Exciting times. Well, I'm stoked. I think we got a lot to look forward to over the next year, which is great because kind of like at the start of this year, it kind of felt a little like, what are we gonna get this year? And I I think we're off to a really good start. So
Yeah, I
I'm
think
stoked.
after May we're getting a lot of stuff. I think just
Yeah.
a couple
Yep.
TV show stills too. So
Yep.
we'll see what's up.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm off to finally see this movie about a bunch of jerks doing things to hurt themselves. I think it's called like Donkey or something, or what,
I don't know.
something like that.
Apparently, you're
Donkey
not afraid of
the
movie theaters
Fourth,
anymore.
you know.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm off to see Jackass 4. So thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good night. Good night, Alex. This was fun.
Good. Okay,
We
bye.
will talk soon.
Bye
Later, everybody.
now. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.